What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're going to talk about Dark Dimension 6, but also Dark Dimension 5 and Dark Dimension in general. We're going to talk about which are the best characters for you to take to Dark Dimension 6, why you should rethink your plans, and make sure that you invest on the right characters. It's always important to have a wide variety of members of different types. Some mutant, some bio, some global, some global, yes, some mystic, some tech, and some skill. And with this wide variety of characters, not only is going to allow you to gear up your characters faster, but also make sure that you have strong elements of your teams on multiple game modes. We are going to ignore all the characters that no longer matter, and each time that we'll do this version in the future, we'll cut down more and more characters that get outdated and give more space to upcoming characters. And as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure to smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so I'm already going through Dark Dimension 6 and I'm on the Cosmic session. I'm about to go to the City session or section of the team, and I've been able to beat it quite easily based on the characters I took, so I think my recommendations are pretty solid. On top of that, I also have feedback from other people that have been doing Dark Dimension 6 as well on different ranges of the game. Some people free to play, other people whales. And I have to say that some people that are 100% free to play, $0 spent in the game, they just started Dark Dimension 6. So if this is something that you think, oh no, this is going to be far away in the future, like 6 months from now or something like that, it's not the case. You just have to invest on the right characters, and if you do so, you're going to progress considerably through this journey, where you're going to be able to obtain Super Scroll. Super Scroll is still one of the best characters, if not top two best characters in the game. We have Apocalypse and we have Super Scroll, and he's quite remarkable. So the faster you get him, the better, because it's going to allow you to dominate all the game modes that we have right now: Cosmic Crucible, Alliance Wars, Blitz, even Blitz, Arena, and you could also possibly use him in raids if you so desire. So it's definitely a very important character that you should be definitely looking forward to. Now, one question that I get a lot is, should I focus on Apocalypse or should I focus on Dark Dimension 6? And you can do both things at the same time, because the limitations for Apocalypse is your ISO 8. You need to have your ISO 8 level 4 and level 5 to gear up those characters, and for Dark Dimension 6, you need to have your characters at gear tier 18. So what really limits the situation of Apocalypse is your raid teams. If you already have your raid teams with ISO 8 level 4, you should go all in to unlock Big Boy Apocalypse. And beyond that, you should not gear up any character to gear tier 18 that you are not going to take to Dark Dimension 6. Now, Dark Dimension 6 starts with 2 free-for-all nodes where you can use any characters you want. Then you have 3 nodes of global, 3 nodes of cosmic, 3 nodes of city, 2 nodes of legendary that exclude horsemen, and then we have 2 more nodes that we can use all legendaries. This is extremely important because you want to gear up your global and your cosmic characters first, and you should do this in this way: 3 global characters, 2 cosmic characters. Then you want to gear up 3 cosmic characters, 2 city characters. Then you want to gear up 3 city characters, 2 legendary characters, and then you finish off with your legendary characters. You should not gear up your horseman characters first. This is a huge mistake that a lot of people are doing. You should not build up any horseman characters first. The only character you can gear up early on that is part of the horseman is Apocalypse, because you can use him on the global nodes and you can use him also on the last section of the free-for-all nodes. Some people ask, can I beat Dark Dimension 6 without Apocalypse? Yes, of course you can. You just have to adjust your playstyle to that, and you have to bring specific characters that can compensate for the abilities that Apocalypse does. So for global, you'd have to bring a character like Nemesis if you cannot bring Apocalypse. but you should bring Apocalypse. And for the legendary nodes, you can use Omega Red instead of Apocalypse, but once again, you should build Apocalypse one way or another, because the nodes were designed by the developers in this specific way. Now, why do I say this? I say this because the global nodes, they have a lot more health than the cosmic nodes and the city nodes. From my experience, the global nodes and the cosmic nodes, they have a difference of like 40% health on the enemies, and then from cosmic to city, there is a difference between like 20% health. So you're gonna see that even that you don't have as many options available for cosmic and for city, it's gonna be a lot easier than global, because once again the enemies have so much less health compared with your experience on global. And the same is going to affect on the legendary nodes. The nodes where you're going to be able to use Apocalypse, the enemies are going to have a lot more health and you're going to struggle a little bit more, and you should use as many characters as possible that drain the health of the enemies. So with all these common questions cleared out, let's talk about which are the best characters you should focus on right now, and then I'm going to show you which is the dream team, right? We have the dream team, the characters that you could use and have like the easiest run in Dark Dimension possible, taking into consideration the gear expenses, which characters are going to be affordable and which ones are going to be less affordable. Okay, so let's get started. Let's take a look at that. First off, as I said, we're going to take a look at global, and you can see I cutted so many characters compared to the previous tier list, and most of these characters down here, they are going to be removed from the next one because they no longer matter. I'm just going to reference some of them because they are important for the community, or because they are raid characters, or because they are Cosmic Crucible characters, and their price is somewhat decent. Okay, first off, like I said, Apocalypse is must-have. Black Widow, she is also must-have because she has speed up to the entire team and stuns. Both of these abilities are crucial to your progress on the global nodes if you want to have a decent experience. If you don't want to have a decent experience, if you want to take like 3 months on global alone, take whichever character you want. But if you want to balance, once again, the gear requirements, the journey, and the time you're going to spend through it, and how easy it's going to be to beat those nodes, you have to pay attention to some of these characters. Okay, so once again, Apocalypse, Black Widow for the speed and also for the stun. Then you have Captain America for the turn bar he gives to himself, removing positive effects and also giving energy to the allies. He also applies deflects on spawn, which are crucial, really crucial to your progress. He also applies offense down on his basic and defense up to himself. So once again, all of these abilities are extremely important when you are facing multiple characters on Dark Dimension 6, and sometimes you have to adjust the ISO weight from Captain America from healer to skirmisher to make sure that you have the best option for that specific node. There is a playlist on my YouTube channel with all the nodes, and you can see exactly how I beat it. You go to my YouTube channel, playlists, and you're gonna find where it is. Here, right here. So Dark Dimension 6 full run, you're gonna find all the nodes step by step pretty much of what I did, and you can copy that if you want to. Okay, so let's go back to the tier list. Once again, Apocalypse, Black Widow and Captain America must have. This is like the core of your team. Then we have the other very useful options, and you can bring these options or not, it's up to you. I'm gonna say that Spider Weaver is probably one of the most important characters that you can take. Yes, I know that some people out there with a big platform like Mobile Gamer and other envoys, they say that Spider Weaver is trash. They are wrong. That's the reality of it. They are wrong because they are always wrong, and they didn't went through Dark Dimension 6 yet, and they have no idea what the fuck they are talking about. Spider Weaver is one of the best characters to take to Dark Dimension 6 global because of her stun with trauma, plus the charges, plus the healing that she does, plus the fact that she can kill characters and they cannot revive. and she spreads positive effects from herself to the allies, including the immunities and the defense ups that Apocalypse does. So whoever says that Spider Weaver is not a top tier character for Dark Dimension, they are just wrong. The only reason why you could maybe consider not bringing her is because she's Mystic. That's the only reason. But if you don't mind taking a Mystic character to global, it should be Spider Weaver. Okay, so we're gonna have double stun, offense downs, energy, the accuracy reduction, we're gonna have massive amount of damage. Like, this is the best team ever that you can take. After that, this is the core of your team. This is the core of your team for global. After that, you can take several options that are going to aid you to progress. But once again, this should be the core of your team because they have everything that you need in order to be very successful in global. Okay, so as I mentioned before, you can beat this without Apocalypse, and if you want to do that, you have to bring Nemesis to replace Apocalypse, because it's going to be extremely important that you have the health removal from your enemies, and you also heal up the entire team, and that's going to balance the amount of support that we have and the healing. Then we have Captain Sam, Sharon Carter, and Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom, he might feel a little bit expensive, but he's actually not that expensive, and if you have Doctor Doom paired up with Apocalypse, you are going to destroy the nodes. It's super easy, but between Doctor Doom and Spider Weaver, I would say that Spider Weaver has a little bit more value in other game modes, and she has more functionalities than Doctor Doom, so it's up to you to decide. Captain Sam, we have the speed bar, we have more energy. All of the Avengers have synergy with each other, so Black Widow, Captain America will have synergies with Captain Sam, with Sharon Carter, also with V-Vision, and that's pretty much it. We removed other characters. We also have Hulkbuster here. And Sharon Carter, she's great because she applies slow for multiple turns, she applies defense down, she applies ability block, she applies stun, and she has very low cooldowns. Together with Black Widow and Captain America, or Captain Sam, Sharon Carter is probably one of the best characters you can use. The only problem for Sharon Carter is that she's not usable in other game modes, like in the past. So it's up to you to decide if you want to bring this MVP character or not, because once again, you're not going to get a lot of value with her outside of Dark Dimension 6. Then we have Lady Deathstrike and Quicksilver. Quicksilver is very good if you have red stars on him. This is a Cosmic Crucible character that requires a lot, really a lot of Dark Promotion credits. 15,000 Dark Promotion credits. Do you have 15,000 Dark Promotion credits sitting around? No? Then you should not use Quicksilver, because if you are coming to Dark Dimension 6 with a 3 yellow, 4 yellow, 0 red stars Quicksilver, you're gonna get clapped so hard that you're gonna cry for days. This is why the advice of Mobile Gamer, Taco Shooter, and other idiots out there in the community is absolutely ridiculous, because Spider Weaver, she was given away for everyone, 7 yellow stars, and you can buy red stars with silver promotion credits and gold promotion credits, while it's not the case with Quicksilver. Quicksilver red stars are very hard to obtain. Some of them were locked to a limit of 5 red stars for a very long time. So it's very unlikely that you'll have Quicksilver at a huge level to bring him to global. That's why he's so low. First off, because he has less value than Spider Weaver, and also because he is not farmable, he's not easily obtainable, and his red stars are extremely hard to obtain. On top of that, his kit is okay for Dark Dimension. He has way too much single target damage. The only benefit that Quicksilver actually has, and this is why you need such a big Quicksilver, it's the Scarlet Witch. The Scarlet Witch that he spawns whenever he goes to low health. That's why Quicksilver is important, because the stuns that you're applying with your Spider Weaver, with your Black Widow, and with your Sharon Carter, those stuns, they are going to last for additional turns, because Scarlet Witch is going to extend those negative effects, and because she can heal up your team, give more deflects and more defense ups. So let's be honest, if you don't have Quicksilver at 7 yellow stars, 5 red stars, or higher, it doesn't matter. If you don't have your Quicksilver at ISO 8 level 4 or level 5, it doesn't matter. The other characters are way better, and easier to obtain. So once again, don't listen to the bullshit that we have going on out there, because it's absolutely ridiculous, and it shows the lack of self-awareness that these people have. They really don't even take into consideration that not everyone has thousands of dollars to spend in this game. That's why the people that take my advices, they are 100% free to play, and they're already going through Dark Dimension 6, and these other idiots with so much money to spend, and they are still struggling through Dark Dimension 6. But absolutely ridiculous. Okay, let's end this tangent. Let's move on. Captain Carter, Abomination, Hulk, all these bio characters that sure you can take, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you want to diversify the amount of gear that you use as much as possible. Sometimes you can go bio heavy on one section, but then on the other section you're gonna be crippled out. So if you decide to take Captain America and Captain Carter, sure, you're gonna have a nice experience, but at the end of the day, then it's going to make you struggle in Cosmic and also in City, because you cannot take many bio characters. So keep that in mind. This is why you have to balance the type of characters. And this is why it's so important to make sure that we have the best characters for the specific tag. And if you take a look at the ones we have on the top, we have one mutant, one skill, one bio, one mystic, and then we just need one tech, right? Lady Deathstrike, she's still okay, she's still fine. She is only usable right now in Alliance Wars, and right now Weapon X is like a top 10 maybe Alliance Wars offensive team, so I'm not exactly sure if it would be a good motivation to gear her up. She's very cheap, she's quite decent, but like I said, it really depends on how much you value this character. And if you geared it up in the past, you should not build up none of these characters from 0 to level 95 if you didn't invest on them in the past. So also keep that in mind. Okay, let's move on. Moonstone, she was important for unlocking Nova, so you might have her available. In terms of other Masters of Evil, we have Titania. Titania is okay. In Dark Dimension, you don't want to use characters with a lot of single target abilities. The more enemies that you can affect at the same time, the better. And unfortunately, that's the case for Titania. I have a 7 red stars Titania, but I'm not going to take a character that only does single target damage when you are facing 8 enemies or 10 enemies at the same time. So keep that in mind. Silver Samurai, Dark Beast. Dark Beast only takes him if you are bringing Nemesis around. So if you are not taking Apocalypse and if you are taking Nemesis, you could bring Dark Beast. But if it's not the case, then don't take him. The same goes for Silver Samurai. These two characters, they are actually going to drop down in tiers on the next patch, because the less likely you are of gearing up these characters, the less value these secondary options have. Asian Venom, not a good character, very slow, doesn't have a lot of energy generation. Once again, you are relying on way too much bio gear in order to push you forward, and it's just overall not a good option. Then Hulk, the same thing. He has some synergies with Captain America, it's not a big deal. V-Vision, she is surprisingly good if you have her with Captain Sam and with Captain America, because she can apply blinds multiple times to 5 characters, because she applies blind to entire row, and she can also ability block, so it's an okay option. Now, in terms of Gambit, Gambit is very cheap, he does a lot of damage, but the only value that we have for him is in Cosmic Crucible, and he's not even that good there, so he's not even good anymore in Cosmic Crucible. He's great, right? He's great, but he's no longer a meta-defining character, especially with the new room bonuses. Iron Fist is too slow. If you have Iron Fist at 7 yellow stars, 7 red stars like I have, I would still not take him, because he's too slow, he's too squishy, and he relies on other characters in order for him to have enough health to stay alive. He requires Kraken America, that you can see right here is at the bottom list, and yes, sure, he can apply 1 stun, but the cooldowns are not that short, and overall it's not a good experience. Braun, he does health steal, okay, some people find that valuable, it's okay. Now, Kraken America, Iron Fist, if you are taking both of them, sure, but once again you are doubling up on skill, and as I mentioned, you should avoid as much as you can doubling up on your tags. Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket, Ultron, Absorbing Man, all these characters are decent, all these characters are part of the meta right now in terms of Alliance Wars, Cosmic Crucible and so on, but they are just not good, they are just not made for Dark Dimension, and you should not bring any of these characters. So once again, the core of your global team should be the ones on S tier, and then you can choose one character on A tier, and go with that. If you are a little bit crazy, I would say, take one on B, C or D tier, but once again you should really focus just on the characters on S tier and A tier. Okay, let's move on to the other sections. Global is just the one that has a little bit more problems taking into consideration. And now we're gonna talk about Cosmic, we're gonna do it a little bit faster. Okay, Kang, Photon and Val are must-have characters. You need to take these characters. Let's be honest, there is no other option that you should take. This should be the core of your Dark Dimension 6 experience. After that, Doctor Strange is very, very strong in Dark Dimension 6. He's going to get speed up and defense up from Photon. He's going to be able to revive Val, and Val then can revive him. And because he's a hero cosmic character, he's going to get deflects, defense subs, death proofs, and evades from Val. So he's going to get a bunch of things that is going to increase his survivability. You are not going to use Doctor Strange for damage. You are going to use Doctor Strange for control and for support. He's going to flip the many speed ups that you face in Cosmic on Black Widows and Captain America's, Captain Sam's. There are a lot of Black Widows giving speed up to your enemies, and you're gonna love having your Doctor Strange to flip all those speed ups into slows. Doctor Strange, he also gives speed bar to the ally with the least speed bar. So there are many situations where this is going to be crucial for you, because it will allow your Val to revive some other character that died, like Kang or Photon or anything in between. Then we have Phyla-Vell. Phyla-Vell is still decent. She is still part of a very important team, which is Infinity Watch. And if your characters have death proof, Phyla-Vell is going to give 50% drain to those characters. Val gives drain. Val gives death proof to hero cosmic characters. Yes, okay, so Val gives death proof to hero cosmic characters. And because of that death proof, your characters will have the drain from Phyla-Vell. So this is a great combination. These characters right here, these four characters, Photon, Val, Phyla-Vell and Doctor Strange together, they are super, super amazing. And in my opinion, this should be your team. It's pretty much that. If I would start Dark Dimension today, this would be my team plus Kang. Other options that we have available but are falling off in the meta a little bit. You have Cersei. Cersei for Dark Dimension is more important than Ikaris. Then we have Kestrel. Kestrel is okay. Her damage is still significant enough because, like I said, the cosmic nodes have less health than the global nodes. Deadpool is okay, but she's Mystic. Dormammu, it's okay, but he's Mystic. Star-Lord Annihilation. I use this character. If you don't have him at 6 yellow, 6 red, he's gonna die all the time. He gets evades sometimes. It's not good enough. You need a lot of support to keep this guy alive. So, I mean, sure, you could use Star-Lord Annihilation instead of Phyla-Vell and having the Strange and the Val to revive him all the time, but it's not that great. He applies blind rarely and the ultimate is absolute trash. The only thing that he provides of usefulness is the vulnerabilities. Battery build is quite great, but he's kinda slow and he's Mystic. Another Mystic character, really. Moon Dragon, she is good if you have Phyla-Vell as well. She's skilled. The problem is that she does a lot of single target damage and she has long cooldowns. And like I said, we want to avoid as much as possible to have characters with single target damage abilities and cooldowns that are way too long. Okay, beyond that we have Ikaris, we have Star-Lord, T'Challa, Hela, Gamora, Nebula. Like, all these characters could be somewhat useful, but they are kinda hot garbage. Now we have to talk about this guy right here, Ravager's Teacher. And some people say, oh, Ravager's Teacher is great, and he's not bad. He's actually not bad, especially when you're using Val and Kang. The problem with Ravager's Teacher is that he's a minion. He's a minion. I don't know if people notice, it's a minion. And minions, they consume as much gear as any other character. Yes, It's true. They consume as much gear as any other character, and bringing this guy, it might consume a lot of the tech gear that you need for this section and also for the other sections where we require more tech characters. And with the upcoming tech team that is coming up soon, I'm not exactly sure if I would spend extra tech gear on a minion that has zero usefulness in other game modes. Some people mentioned, I think it was Quick Draw. Quick Draw is a guy from my alliance, great guy, very smart, and he said that you could bring or Sif or Valkyrie, probably Valkyrie first, together with Val, and that would allow you to get buffs on your Hero Asgardians and make the team a little bit more solid, especially if you're also bringing better rebuild. So you could bring better rebuild, Val and Valkyrie. This would be a decent team. I think it's a great idea, but it really depends on how much hits can you afford taking in your gear. If you don't have any problems getting up your Valkyrie, if you have her at 700 stars or something like that, it's a good idea. Not my preferable way of managing my gear, but it's a possibility. It's a hit that you can take if you so desire. It's up to you at the end of the day. Then we have the thing. The thing is going to get a rework. We have not seen the rework yet. He has a stun on his ultimate on the rework. That's the only information we have. But he's too slow. He has insane stats, but he also has only single target damage and abilities. So be careful with that. There might be some potential of using this guy in the future, but not right now because the rework is not live and we don't know his full abilities. Okay, so that's Cosmic. Once again, the core of your team should be Photon, Val, Kang, and Strange. But Phyla-Vell, I think it's a great option as well. And beyond that, we have a few options here that you can give you value in other game modes, but it's something that you should be careful with. If you don't have the yellow stars and red stars, there is no point on bringing any of these characters. Let's move on to the next session. We have the city section, and this is the section where it changed everything. It changed all the plans. Cosmic was also a section where it changes all the plans, but city is the worst of all, because on this new patch we got 2 new city characters, and that completely changed the dynamic of which characters you can choose. So the must-have character, the most important character that you can take right now to Dark Dimension 6 of the city section is Miss Potato, Miss Marvel Hard Light. She's very, very, very good. She's a controller, she's a protector, and she's a support character. She's going to provide buffs, she's going to rewind the enemies, and she's going to heal your team. So as you can see, this is a major asset to your experience, and she also gives barrier to everyone. It's quite massive. So she is absolutely the must-have character for city. Beyond that, there are a few options, but I'm gonna be honest, none of these options are like good enough. They are just possibilities that you can use. Shang-Chi right now, he has some use on the Greek raids, and that's it. In other game modes, I'm not using him in Crucible, I'm using him on defense in Alliance Wars, I guess. I'm not using him in raids, so you could bring Shang-Chi or not, it's up to you. He's a skill character. There are legendaries that require a lot of skill gear, so you might want to skip Shang-Chi and bring someone else. He has huge value, turning wind, massive amount of damage, clearing negative effects, healing up, applying slows to the enemies. So I'm not gonna say like he's a bad character, he's a great character. The problem is that right now, in terms of the meta, Shang-Chi is being left behind. In terms of Cloak, Cloak is still amazing. Between Cloak and Dagger, you want to take Cloak first because he is faster than Dagger, he has more dodge chance, he has less health, but his cooldowns are somewhat more significant with his special and with his ultimate. Having that ultimate to apply blinds to your enemies is quite great, so he's one of those characters that you should have in mind. So in terms of the city core, Miss Marvel, Hard Light, Cloak, and Shang-Chi. All the other characters are optional. We're gonna start with the first options. 2099. He's okay, he has long cooldowns. If you can keep him alive, and you might be able to keep him alive with Miss Marvel Hard Light if she's big enough, then 2099 can give you a good experience. Otherwise, the original Spider-Man would be the best option. Original Spider-Man is one of the best characters that you can take for Dark Dimension 6. The problem is that it's not useful in other game modes. And are you going to gear up a character just for this? Probably not. Spider-Woman, she's okay. She has very long cooldowns. She got a rework recently. She's part of a top 3 Alliance Wars team, so it's definitely a character that you could bring, but the fact that she has very long cooldowns is a little bit of a problem. Then we have Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. This guy is okay. He does a lot of damage. He doesn't have a lot of controlling effects in terms of offense down, turning winds, slows and things like this. But yeah, he does a lot of damage. He permanently kills the enemies, which can be nice because we have some revive characters on the city nodes. But he's a new character. Are you going to have him at 5 yellow stars, 5 red stars or above at the point that you are doing city? Well, that's the answer that you need that's the question you need to answer, and then you can consider him. He's not super cheap in terms of mystic gear, and like I said before, you should take Cloak over anyone else. Then we have Firestar. Firestar is okay, she's cheap. Mutant, Dagger, she's too expensive. Then we have Squirrel Girl. All of these characters, they are quite great, but because they are so expensive and because they don't have a lot of value in other game modes, that's the reason why you don't want to take them. Then we have Spider-Man Big Time, and I didn't put here, but you could bring Vulture, like desperate for any tech city characters. And the Spider-Man Big Time is not great. It just does damage in Dark Dimension 6, and especially after they nerf his ultimate. And because of that, it's you only take him if you are completely desperate for an additional character to take for the city nodes. So once again, the core of your team should be Miss Potato, aka Miss Marvel, Art Light, Cloak, Shang-Chi, and then whichever character you want that fits with your team. I would say maybe 2099 or OG Spider-Man, and maybe Big Time because he's tech, or maybe Firestar or Spider-Woman. Dagger and these other mystic characters is something that you should definitely avoid as much as possible. Okay, we have the legendary section. Legendary section is going to be pretty easy. We have characters that are absolutely obvious, but like I said, you don't want to gear up your horseman until you are, unless you are forced to, and if you are not forced to, just forget that the horseman characters exist. Just focus on the new legendary characters like Nova and Black Cat. Nova bio, Black Cat skill. Then we need tech, we need mutant, and we need mystic. For mutant, it's pretty easy. Omega Red is not a new character, but is probably still one of the best characters in the game. What he does on his own is absolutely ridiculous, and is definitely the mutant character that you should take. In terms of tech characters, we have Dr. Octopus and Shuri. You have to take Shuri, right? Unfortunately, you have to take Shuri because you don't have many other options left. Iron Man, Star-Lord, they're just not good enough. And Dr. Octopus is okay, but Shuri provides more value. Then we have Adam Warlock and the Mystic characters. Adam Warlock, he applies 2 stuns for 2 targets, which is nice. It doesn't do a lot. It's a lot of single target damage. He's okay. He's still part of one of the best teams in the game. So it's up to you to decide if you're gonna bring Adam Warlock or not. In terms of Ebony Maw, this is a great question because Ebony Maw is supposed to have a rework or this patch or next patch. The Black Order is supposed to have a rework that will put them at the same level as Infinity Watch, which, like I said, it's still a great team. So if this is the case, maybe Ebony Maw is going to be your answer. Ebony Maw is much friendlier to gear up than Adam Warlock. And if they lower the cooldowns of Ebony Maw a little bit, he would be one of the best characters to take to Dark Dimension, especially because he has synergies with Shuri. Whenever Shuri gets defense up, she gets energy, and then she gives more energy to all allies, which will once again allow them to get more energy to Shuri, and Shuri give more energy to everyone else. So Ebony Maw would be the best option if he gets a rework soon. If we don't have a rework soon, then we have to take Adam Warlock for his additional stuns. In terms of the horseman characters, once again, forget about them. Try to go through Dark Dimension 6 without a horseman, and then only if you are desperate, you have to get up the horseman in this order: Morgan Le Fay, Red Hulk, Rogue, and Archangel. I know that people like Red Hulk, but Morgan Le Fay is absolutely much better than Red Hulk is. Morgan Le Fay is one of the strongest characters in the game, paired up with Omega Red and some other characters out there. And Red Hulk, without the extra health that he gets from Abomination and from Brawn, is okay. He's barely okay, to be honest. Archangel, just forget about it. Jubilee, all these other characters, or they are too expensive or they are just not relevant enough. And that's it, guys. Those are the characters you should focus on: Nova, Black Cat, Omega Red, Shuri, and then or Adam Warlock or Ebony Maw, depending if Ebony Maw gets his rework soon or not. Dr. Octopus is not supposed to have a rework based on the rumors. We'll see what happens. It might change until next patch. So these are the options. Which are the dream teams? The dream teams are based on the cores of the sections that I mentioned. So Apocalypse, Spider-Weaver, Black Widow, Captain America. This is going to be your dream team for global, and then you have one slot to add up whichever character you want, or Doctor Doom, or Sharon Carter, or Captain Sam, or which other global character you want to use. Then on Cosmic, Val, Kang, Strange, and Photon. This is going to be your dream team. This is going to be the core of your team. And then you can take Phyla-Vell or Star-Lord Annihilation, or maybe some other character that you like, maybe Better Ray Bill. For City, we have 2099 Shang-Chi, we have Miss Marvel, Hard Light, and we have Cloak. This is going to be the core of your team, and then you just take one additional character, maybe one more mutant, maybe a tech character, it's up to you to decide. And the core of the legendary should be Nova, Omega Red, Black Widow, Shuri, and then whichever Mystic, whether it is Ebony Maw with a rework or Adam Warlock. If you take these characters, if you follow my advices, not only are you going to have a super easy experience throughout Dark Dimension 6, but it's going to be a short experience as well, because you're going to be able to 2-tap, 3-tap the nodes easily, and still have a lot of value on characters that are going to be useful on other game modes. What about Doctor Strange? How is he going to have any value on other game modes? He's still going to have a lot of value on Cosmic Crucible and on Alliance Wars, together with his Secret Defenders team, and on top of that, you also can use him on the Gamma Raids, where you have to use Defender characters. So overall, I think these are the best recommendations that we can make today on patch 7.3, and as always, make sure you check out my channel, make sure you check out the playlist for Dark Dimension 6 if you want to see which characters I attacked first and which characters you should stun in order to be able to beat Dark Dimension 6 fairly easy. So yeah guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. All these recommendations also apply to Dark Dimension 4, 5 and 6, but this is more for the teal gear, right? The orange gear, you can pretty much take whichever character you want, but when you start using teal gear on Dark Dimension 5 and 6, you have to be a lot more careful, especially because you're going to try to unlock Apocalypse at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.